All right, tubers, good evening. Madam Roy back once again, back to you with your Hurricane Dorian update, at least for my neck of the woods. Gonna wait a couple of minutes till everybody gets here. I didn't really promote this one, so whoever sees this will see it. It wasn't something I really wanted to do tonight, but I figured I'd give you guys at least a quick update on what's actually going on. And yes, for MBS, I am uploading an actual vlog for today. All right, so we got a couple of people showing up here. Ooh. Just to let you guys know, we're perfectly fine. We're up here at my uncle's place in Green, New York, so we are way away from any of this Hurricane Dorian mess. Hope you guys are all playing it safe too. If you are in the track of this potentially devastating hurricane, that you are all staying safe and batten down the hatches. Got a couple of people here. Before while I'm waiting for people to come, I'm going to show you something really cool that I got. I don't know if you guys saw this. I showed this a little bit earlier. Well, actually, you couldn't have seen it because I haven't uploaded the vlog yet today. Well, I'm going to save this for another time then. I don't want to spill the beans on that. You guys will have to watch the vlog later. But update on Dorian. As of right now, it is a Category 3 hurricane. Let me pull this up here. Oh, I'm sorry. Take that back. It is currently a Category 2 hurricane. Sustained winds, if my cursor will cooperate here. Sustained winds are about 105 to 110 miles per hour, so it's still a major hurricane at this point. Now, the hurricane models have this thing going pretty much in the same direction. That is inland towards Hatteras, North Carolina, and making a sharp. See, right now, it's located right off of what appears to be the Charleston, South Carolina coast as a Category 2. Most models having it moving up towards Wilmington and then pretty much slamming right into Hatteras, which is not unusual. Many hurricanes that follow the Atlantic coast hitting the Hatteras, and that's because Hatteras jots out further than most other areas. Now, we live up here in the Norfolk area, and what's nice about us is by the time it hits Hatteras, it really tends to break apart and usually goes out to sea. Or in some cases, they are rare, but it does happen. It'll hit Hatteras and it'll start going up the coast and hit us. But by the time it gets to us, it's weakened substantially from its impact with the land on the North Carolina coast. So we usually don't get too many ill effects from these particular hurricanes. You can see flash flood warning is in effect, or watch, I should say, but I think they did upgrade that to a warning for our area, which is more towards the coast. As you go inland, it's probably going to stay a watch. Generally, the flooding is usually the worst as you get closer to the coast. And again, that's because the hurricane is pretty much going to go here and then out to sea. And the heaviest of the bands are going to stay out to sea. They're on the right side of the storm. The left side can still be bad, but it's not usually a big wind maker. It's usually mainly just rain, and that's why they have the flash flood watch up for us. And moving down, don't want to close any of that. Let me see. You can see some of the rainfall totals here. Our area, well, the closest I can get to where we are would be like, nah, not really. Probably Virginia Beach. So we're looking about 4.5 inches. Looks like the heaviest of the rain is still going to stay off of the North Carolina coast. So we're talking about Duck, Nag's Head, pretty much all the Outer Banks. Very interesting. It looks like Cape Hatteras is going to get about half the usual amount. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe just the way the storm is positioning itself. Very interesting, though. Rainfall amounts. Here we go. Wow. 6 inches of rain possible in Suffolk, and that's pretty bad. That's not too far from where we are, so we could potentially be getting 6 inches of rain. Virginia Beach, 7.8, almost 8 inches of rain. Now, that is pretty bad considering in our area, a lot of us are below sea level. Our house is not, but most people in the Hampton Roads area actually live below sea level. Or I say at or below sea level. Looks like Newport News is going to get 3.25 inches of rain. Let me see. As agreement with the numbers, we could see 6 to 10 inches from Virginia Beach to Chesapeake. So that's pretty much our neck of the woods right there. That's insane. If we actually get 10 inches, that would be flooding on a massive scale. But I highly doubt it. It's probably be closer to the 6 inch range. 4 to 6 inches for the rest of Hampton Roads, and then 2 to 4 inches towards the Middle Peninsula. So, Mark Covington, that's going to be you, 2 to 4 inches most likely. And then we have tide forecast for Sewell's Point. Yeah, that's pretty bad as we get towards Friday evening, around 6.8, so almost 7 feet. That is definitely going to cause some major flooding issues. And pretty much the same thing for North Carolina. So I'm going to turn you guys back around. I want to talk a little bit about hurricane preparedness. Now, I know this is a little late for that. Most of you guys have already battened down the hatches, but some things you don't want to forget about for a hurricane. You want to have in your survival kit dry food goods, canned food goods. You want to have bottled water. You want to have flashlights with plenty of batteries. You can have candles, but they're not recommended. It's better to have flashlights and lanterns, like those Coleman lanterns, because everything nowadays runs off of LED bulbs. And just one set of batteries in, for example, one of those Coleman lanterns could last you 3, 4, 5 days straight or longer, depending on the wattage requirements. Other things you don't want to forget, water purification tablets in case you run out of fresh bottled water or water that maybe you stored up. You can actually use those. If you can't do that, you want to make sure that you boil your water, because if you start to flood in your area, then the sewage treatment plants can back up and that can run right into the fresh water and to contain the water supply. So water purification tablets are a must. And again, if you don't have those, you can boil your water. I highly, highly recommend before you lose power, if you have bathtubs, fill them up with water. Now, chances are you're not going to be drinking that water, but for things like flushing toilets for people that live, where you have septics and well pumps, you can use the water for that. You could use the water for cooking if you had to. You could take the bath water out. I know it kind of sounds a little gross, but you can basically boil that water and cook with it. And let's see, what am I forgetting? And don't forget your pets. Of course, if you have pets, you make sure you have extra pet food for them. That's pretty easy to store. Pet food is usually canned or it's in bags. Medications, that is a big thing that people forget during hurricane season. Chances are, if it's catastrophic and you lose power, your pharmacy may not be open for a week, 2 weeks, maybe up to a month. So you want to make sure you have at least a 30-day supply of all your medications. If you have a generator, make sure you have plenty of gasoline. This is a big one because the last time we had a major hurricane in Hampton Roads, believe it or not, we actually ran out of gasoline. We thought we had enough stored. I think we had actually stored in the house maybe about 50 gallons of gasoline. But you have to remember the average household generator, we're talking about a 5,000 watt generator, something like a Troy built. I think ours is actually a Troy built, will on average burn 1 gallon of gas per hour. And so in 24 hours that could be 24 gallons of gas. So you got to think you need to store a lot of gas. And of course, If there's no power, then the gas stations are not going to be able to pump the gas out of the tanks and allow you to refuel. Now, there are going to be some gas stations that will have power generators themselves, but again, you don't want to have to rely on that. What's up, Doc? Eric Frunhammer says that is so funny. I actually just finished watching your video on the thrift store hauls. I really hope you get that motherboard working. I was really pulling for it. I was like, man, I hope that that motherboard works, but alas, I guess it had some kind of fault in it. But what we're talking about here is hurricane preparedness, things that you need to have on hand to get you through any type of hurricane. You know, it's not just hurricanes, any natural disaster. We're talking about tornadoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, pretty much all of those natural disasters. You pretty much need the same types of things in your survival kits. I'm not going to answer that, Mark, because you're asking the same question over and over again. Make sure you ask new questions. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But I will say that in your neck of the woods, the peninsula, you guys aren't going to get it too severely. I think it was maybe an inch and a half, 2.5 inches of rain, and winds in your area might be 15 to 20 miles an hour. Now, where we are, it could be upwards of 35 to 45 mile per hour winds. So it's just going to depend on exactly where you are. And if you're in North Carolina, like in the Outer Banks area, you're probably going to get it even worse than we do. So just keep an eye on your local forecasts. Tune into your local news stations, and that'll give you the best judge of what's going to actually happen in your area. Marcos just filled up my 2008 Chevy HHR. Very good idea. That's another thing. Thank you, Mark, for mentioning that. Make sure you fill up your fuel tanks because, again, you may not have access to fuel. Let me see if I can do this. My cell phone battery is really low, and I don't know if I can make this work or not, but let's see. Hopefully I'm not going to, my cell phone cable's not short enough, so we'll just have to press on. As soon as I finish the live stream, I'll have to charge it up because I actually filmed a vlog with my cell phone today, so my battery's starting to run kind of low. Eric Brunhammer goes, I actually have a survival kit and I have about 21 days of survival food. That's very good. A lot of us probably can't say that. And in all honesty, I can't say that I have that much food stored up either. I probably have enough food to last a couple of weeks, maybe 14 days of dry goods. But a lot of the food we have in our house is still refrigerated and would probably spoil within a day or two. But I will tell you this, we do have plenty of fuel on hand. My dad actually has I think it's a 150-gallon fuel tank in the back of the Dodge Ram that we keep full of fuel at all times. So we should be able to run our generator and at least keep our refrigerator going for maybe a week or two. Chris Garrett, Matt, listening while driving right now. I'm sitting in the drive-through. I will only listen through Bluetooth when driving phone face down. Very good. Good man. You're a lot better than a lot of us out there. Oh, I really need to figure out how to plug this in. Let me see. One thing I need to do is actually get a cell phone with a longer cord. I tell you, it's the one that they give you is really, really short. Let me try this real quick. See if I can make this work. Oh, there we go. That's not too bad. I just moved it over towards the printer. I've listened while driving to and using voice to text. You know, I never have good luck with that. Every time I use voice to text, it never texts the right word for me. I don't know why. I guess maybe I just have one of those my voice can be kind of nasally at times, so it always seems to get it wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. You know what? we'll go a few more minutes. If you guys want to interject here, think of anything that I didn't mention that you might need in a survival kit, let me know because I'm sure there are a few things that I've probably missed. Cell phone with a cord. That's actually a good idea. And more specifically, you want to have a cell phone with a car charger because even if you don't have electricity in their house, 9 times out of 10, your battery in your car will still be good. So, in a pinch, if you need to charge your cell phone and you don't have power in the house, if you have a car charger, you can go in and plug it in the cigarette lighter and actually charge your phone. So, yeah, that was a very good point, Chris Garrett. Should have brought some water with me. I tell you, my mouth has been very, very dry lately. Any other thoughts? Anything else you would need? Good man, Chris. And he said it right there, the Holy Bible. And it can be a physical copy of the Bible, it can be a digital copy of the Bible on your phone. But in times of crisis, I always turn upwards towards heaven. Very, very good option. Really, the only one you have sometimes. Think about it. Think about it. That's not thunder, by the way. That's just the neighbor's kids upstairs playing around. Eric Burnham, you should always keep a radio with batteries, flashlights, all the essentials. That's a good point. An emergency radio is something you should always have. Remember, when power goes out, you can't always rely on cell phone signals. A lot of times, the cell phone towers will be down, and you won't have any cell phone reception. So the only way you're going to get essential information will be through something like an old transistor radio. I mean, I actually have in almost every room of our house old AM FM transistor radios. A lot of them are these old Panasonic ones from like the 60s and 70s, but they have the best antennas in them and they get the job done. We have several local stations, and actually, most of them emergency stations broadcast over AM. So if you go to an antique store and you find one of those old AM transistor radios, pick it up, get some 9-volt batteries, which is what they usually run on, and put that in your preparedness kit, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I knew somebody was going to mention that again. Candles, yes, but less so than other things like flashlights, LED lanterns, maybe even I'm going to go as far as to say like the LED flicker candles or LED candles, because when we talk about candles, you have fire, you have matches, you have a lot of stupid people out there that are going to burn their own house down because they lit a candle. It's going to happen. I've seen it happen. So, yes, I would say have candles for the absolute emergencies where you don't have any other options, but use them as a last resort. That's all right, Eric. You don't have to apologize. I know you get busy. And I'll be honest with you, Eric, I don't always stay for your whole live streams either. I'm sorry. I always try to be truthful, but it's something to where we have kind of a limited attention span now as a society, so I totally get it. I mean, the average live stream, at least mine, will last probably 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, and I fully expect not everybody's going to stay for the whole thing. Okay. I just got an update. As of Friday, 11 a.m., here are the wind speed updates that were put out by Super Doppler 10. Cape Hatteras will see 61 mile per hour sustained winds. Manio 56, Elizabeth City 50, Ahoskie 25, Virginia Beach 51, Wakefield 21, Saluda 28, Wallops Island 31, and Farmville, which is way west, a whopping 14 mile per hour wind. So you can see the further west, the further inland you go, the much less wind speed you're going to have. Just the way it is, hurricanes are going to pretty much hug the coast the whole time. Thank you, Mark. Everyone in Dorian's path, please be careful. Positively, lootly. Let me see. Wow. I'm just looking at the two models. They have the European and the GFS model, and they're almost in exact agreement. Let me go ahead and show you guys this real quick. If you look right there, you have the European model, which I don't see a key. Let me see. I'm thinking the European is probably the purple one, and the GFS is the white one, but it really doesn't matter because, as you can see, it's pretty much drawing the exact same line with very, very little deviation as you go out towards sea, and as you get closer inland, it's almost exactly the same. So at this point, you can see that the bulk of the hurricane, at least the right side, is going to stay off the coast, and that's what you want. The strongest winds are on the right side of any hurricane, so that's actually good. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get anything. That just means the strongest of the winds are going to stay off the ocean. They're off to sea. And then, of course, over here, we're going to get maybe, so what would that be? Maybe a half or one third of the storm. So it's definitely not a worst case scenario, but you guys and gals out there definitely want to be prepared. Go ahead and put you back down here again. I'm actually propping you up on the router and the printer because I don't actually have any other way to do it and still charge the cell phone. All right, tubers, I'm in the live stream here. Hope you guys stay safe. Please, 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 if you are in the path of this hurricane, make sure that you batten down the hatches, stay inside, evacuate if you have to. But remember, evacuation is not always the best option because you can actually get stuck in traffic. So, best thing to do, follow the recommendations of your EMS, your emergency management system, or your local news stations. Please continue like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.